I'm just about to go inside a house and repair the tiling after a plumber has gone and fixed the leaky pipe. So we'll see you inside. So he's caused this, he's had to break into the tiles, and so my suggestion to the customer was to remove those tiles so it looks like a feature, because he can't match. So I'm going to cut all these tiles out, and the reason I do that is so that when I chip out the tile it doesn't break the next tile, because otherwise you're going to go forever. And to do that I use a diamond. This is a diamond tip blade. It's about $35. But before I do that, it's always wise to put on some headphones to save your ears from going deaf. I'm already half deaf in one ear. I don't want the other ear to go deaf or I'll be completely deaf. So there we go, put that on. When you do this, this is not for young players. I need to keep this hand very dry because this is electricity, and so I don't want this hand to get wet, because I'm going to use a sponge on the wheel to stop the dust, and that's how I do it. So not only it cuts the grout out, but cuts a bit of the glue, because if I try to chip it without going deep, the glue could dislodge a little bit of this tile. So you cut deep enough to cut the grout and the glue out. Now all I need to do is chip these tiles out. Now to do that, I need a heavy hammer like this, not like this. This is not really quite heavy enough to do the job, but this one does the job well. And I've got a combination of different types of chisels to knock this out, and you just judge whichever one works the best. You can even use a screwdriver, a smaller screwdriver than this. That's what happens sometimes, some of the render comes off, so I'll have to fill that up afterwards a bit. See how it didn't chip the tile because I sliced it. Sometimes it's better to hit downwards rather than hit that way, because I might end up breaking that tile. So I hit downwards, it's better. Okay, so the reason I have to get this glue off is because if I should put this tile there, it doesn't really sit flush. I'm going to have to get all this glue off. Sometimes when they don't do this, I have to do it myself, and I use Jetcrete and I fill this up, but I've got to be very careful that it's not too proud. So I might have to just grind that with my multi-tool. Before I put the adhesive on, all the tiles I need to brush it so it's dust free. I also need to wet it as well. So now I need to mix this glue up. Sometimes it's better to put some water in first before you put the glue. So you see how it looks like cement, but it's not actually cement, but it's actually glue. Okay, that's pretty good now, it's a nice consistency. And so now I'm just going to put a little bit on the trowel, fill these gaps. You can just slap it on and it sticks. So I don't want to use this trowel because the teeth are too long, and I don't want to have a thick layer of glue. So I'm going to use this thin one, and I'm not going to spread it like that. I'm getting more of an angle, and just make sure it's stuck properly. These tiles here, they're actually a little bit bigger. See how the tiles are a little bit bigger than that? I may actually end up having to trim it. Okay, so I'm going to have to trim the bottom and the side. Like that one, trim that bit off, and trim this bit off here. Using my diamond grinder. And as you can see, it gets quite dusty. So it's better not to do that job inside. Always use the grinder outside. Have a look at this tile, see what's going to happen with this. except I'm going to have to trim a bit off here so that that matches. And I'm going to actually preferably put that edge against here so it's not so noticeable, the cut edge. It just looks a little bit better. So I'm ready for the next tile, but also we need to make some room just around there, just a little bit. If they want to take this spindle out, they need to have room. But the tap cover will cover that. So this tile, I'm going to have to trim it and trim here. So I'd rather have that cut against there, it's not so noticeable. Now, the trick is cutting around these. I need to cut around the tap, so I'm going to place the tile there, just mark one side, the other side, and then go down, mark there, bring that down, down, and then just this part there. So that's what I need to cut out. Mark that one, and that's what I've got to cut out. Those two things plus that. Okay, so it's important to make sure all this is covered by this tap cover. So yeah, it's going to be covered. It's really important that this area just around here is filled. And so we put a little bit extra glue so that when you put the tap cover it doesn't crack. So that's looking good. Flush at the top, flush there, that's good. Yeah, so that's my little brush. See, it just cleans it out. You just wash it, makes room for the grout. And we also need to make some trim a little bit here. So I need to just cut that bit out. Okay, we'll just try this for size now. And now I want to grout the job. So I'll put a bit of water in first. Grout into it. So I'll just let that set for a while. Okay, I've let that set for a little while. So there's a little trick to grout it so that the tiles don't move. So what you do is you keep the wedges in and you just put the grout down the bottom of the tile, you know, keeping the wedges in. I'm going to wipe it off and then I'm going to blow dry it. And just use a sponge like this. Now that I've wiped the grout off, I'm just going to blow dry the grout just enough to hold the tiles in place so that tiles don't move. Okay, now that I've dried that off, I'm going to take the wedges out and you can see that the tile's not moving. And now I'm going to grout the whole lot. So once you put that on, just wipe the grout off. So that's looking really good. So all I have to do now, put these tap covers back on, tightens up nicely. So then you put the tap handle back, you've got to put it the right way because there's a cap that goes there. So yeah, that's good, that's how it should go on. So, and that's a finished job. I think it looks good, looks like it's meant to be. So I've just fixed up so he can continue to have a shower, and if he ever wants to renovate, because this is an old shower he says, you can always do it down the track.